you.
Welcome back to another video. Sorry I haven't posted for a while because since the holidays I was taking a little break and spending some more time with my family, and I kind of took breaks from making beats, but I'm back now and I'm actually gonna go on a trip tomorrow, so I'm putting out this video so I can have some content for y'all, and I hope you guys are enjoying your holidays. And basically in this video I'm going to be showing y'all how to flip samples and turn it into something fire. And with all that said, let's get into it. First thing in the beat, we have the actual loop. And for all of my beats, I always start off with the melody or the loops, and usually when I use loops, they're always just kind of like a bass on the intro or the beginning, like the first 8 measures of the loop, and I don't like that. So basically all I do is I add in a EQ, I scroll through the presets over here on the top right, I take out a bit of the highs just because to kind of take out the highs there for the frequencies, and then I take out the lows to where I can't hear the bass anymore. And then I create an automation clip on it by right clicking on the circle over here, the green circle, and then create automation clip. And then from there I basically just right click here. Let's say I right click like here and here, and then I drag down. So basically, like, let's say it's like this, I'll right click on these and then I'll drag it down like that, and I'll scroll it over to the end of the measure where I want the bass to turn on, and then I add the rest just on the bottom. For this one I kind of wanted the bass to kind of fade out a tiny bit and then come back to without the bass for the hook. And then I added a reverb. I increased the wet a tiny bit to around 41%. I decreased the decay and I turned up the size all the way up. Then I added another EQ, taking out a bit of the mids, around 300 hertz. Then I wanted to do something kind of cool on the pre-hook right before the hook fell with the drums and everything. I wanted to add a gross beat, and then I put it here on the basic one, and then it basically just kind of adds this kind of like hesitation type of effect. Here, if you guys will listen to it over here, you'll see it. And then I didn't want too much of it, so I decreased the volume down here. I kind of just rang it down to around 11%, and then I turned down the mix in the mixer loop to 36%, and then I added a delay. And then I right clicked on the presets over here and I went to ping pong because I kind of wanted it to switch between ears. And then I added another EQ just because in the second verse I wanted it to kind of like be very underwater kind of effects, like sounding like that. So then I took out a lot of the highs and a lot of the lows, and then I added a reverb. I turned up the wet a lot, up to around 70%. I turned the size all the way up again, and then to kind of give it that underwater effect, and then I created automation clips for both of those, so it only turns on for the second verse right here. And then that's basically all I did for the melody. So to start off the drums, we have 2 snares layered over each other. The first one sounds like this. And the second one comes right after. Alright, then I added a clap. Then a perk. Alright, so basically how those 4 sounds sound together. Alright, then I added a hi-hat. So basically, the hi-hat looks pretty complex, but it really is actually really simple. So basically, as I show in all my tutorials, what I do with the hi-hat is I pull up the channel rack over here, and then I right click on the hi-hat channel, and I go to fill in each two-step, and then basically it'll make a two-step hi-hat pattern for you. And then I just press Control L on my keyboard to extend all of the notes, and then I start taking out some and adding some rolls. So basically, the pattern that I had in my head is for the first three measures I'm going to show over here. So basically, I wanted to just repeat that throughout the entire thing. I found it kind of catchy, and it kind of left a bit of space in the hi-hats for the rapper to kind of do his thing, because especially when you're making a beat for a certain rapper, you want the hi-hats to have a catchy pattern, but you also want to let the artist be creative, because if the hi-hat just is like just a random two-step hi-hat pattern going throughout the entire way, it's going to sound generic, and the rapper will have to have like a certain flow throughout the entire beat, you know, and you want them to kind of be free to whatever they want to do. So, and then the thing that I added with it was I transposed a lot of notes up and down because I wanted to kind of be dramatic, to kind of have that kind of like emotional effect on the hi-hats. And then I messed around with the velocities just to where the rhythm sounded good with those type of like with the velocities of it, because when you're playing an actual drum, let's say like you're playing drums in church, you're not gonna have the same velocity, the same volume, you know, when you're hitting the hi-hats for each one, you know, and not the same note as well. So you want to kind of like make it sound more realistic. That's basically what I did for the hi-hat pattern. And then for the effects that I added on it were a fruity reverb and a fruity delay. So basically the reverb, I just turned down the wet to around 13%, and then I turned down the decay around to 0.9 milliseconds. And then I added a fruity delay, and I went to the top right hand over here side where I went to the presets. I right clicked on it and I went to ping pong effect, so that it would kind of bounce between each ear and kind of like pan it back and forth. And then I just turned down one in the mixer preset over here. I just turned down the mix percentage to around 5%, and that's basically all I did for the hi-hats. And then going into the 808, basically I pulled it up from this loop stash kit that I got, and it is the Madenka Deep 808. It's a really good bass, and then I just followed the root notes of the melody. So this is how it sounds like. Alright, then for the kick, alright, and then the final thing I added on the drums was an open hi-hat to hit on accent notes. Whenever the drop hit, I hit it on all the ones, and then I hit like a little accent note between. Alright, then for the effects that I added for the 808 was nothing, and the kick, I basically just, in the loop stash kit, it comes with a mixer preset. It's the fat 808 that I just drag into the kick channel over here, and basically all it does is adds an EQ, brings up some of the mids around 300 hertz, and it brings up some of the lows as well, so it can accent the kick more. Then it adds a fruity limiter, a compressor, and does all of those things, and then another parametric EQ, adding a sharp low ends. And then what I did to the actual kick was, when I pulled it up, I went to the channel rack, and then I double clicked on it, and then I go over here to this little section. I went to the volume, and I turned the attack down, turned the hold all the way up, turned down the decay the sus, and then I left the release around 37%, and then it'll basically make this kind of unfinished square over here, and then it'll make the kick hit a lot harder. And that's basically all I did for the kick, and these are how the drums sound like all together. Alright, then I added a riser. It sounds like this. And then I added a vox. Sounds like this. And then basically all together with the melody going from the pre-hook into the hook sounds like this. Alright, so if you guys did get anything from this tutorial, please make sure to drop a like and sub down below. I'll greatly appreciate it. And once again, I want to wish you guys all a happy holidays. Hope you guys enjoy your Christmas and everything like that. And I'll be trying to post more consistently on YouTube, so make sure, you know, to stay tuned for that. And with all that said, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.